Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Navigating the West. Today, we are starting a classic, epic journey, the story of Robinson Crusoe. I'm Mark, and with me is Sarah.
Hi, everyone. This isn't just a story. It's a survival guide for the human spirit. Let's dive in.
Crusoe was born in 1632, England. He had a comfortable life, a good education, and a father who wanted him to be a businessman. But Crusoe had a different dream. He wanted to travel by sea.
Yes, his father warned him that sea travel is dangerous and uncomfortable, and that he could die. But Crusoe's desire to see new countries was too strong.
Exactly. So in 1651, at age 18, he left for London. But the journey started badly. A massive storm hit.
It was terrifying. The waves were like mountains, and the ship was full of water. They even saw a hole in the ship. They barely survived and landed on the coast of England.
But Crusoe didn't learn. After some business success in Africa, he set sail again. This time, a pirate ship attacked them.
And Crusoe became a slave. He spent 2 years as a slave in Africa, where he met a young woman who was also a slave. They couldn't be together, but their connection was special.
Eventually, Crusoe planned an escape. He used a fishing boat, filled it with guns and food, and convinced a young boy to run away with him.
They survived by catching fish and fighting off wild animals, including a lion. Eventually, they were rescued by a Portuguese ship.
The captain was kind. He took them to Brazil, where Crusoe started a sugar plantation. He even got married and had big plans for his life. But business is business. He decided to go to Africa again for a trade mission.
And that's when everything went wrong. A hurricane hit, the ship was broken, and they were forced onto a small boat. Another massive wave overturned the boat, and Crusoe was the only one who made it to a beach.
Part 2. The Life of a Castaway and the Island Routine. So Crusoe was alone. No food, no clothes, only a knife in his pocket. He was on an island, completely isolated.
But he was resourceful. He swam back to the broken ship several times to get wood, tools, guns, and even a dog. He built a tent, then a cave, and even a calendar by making cuts on a cross.
He had to learn how to survive. He taught himself to make furniture, bake bread, and even domesticate goats.
It's fascinating how he handled his loneliness. He kept a journal, wrote about his life, and tried to stay positive by making a list of good things and bad things.
Then disaster struck in the form of an earthquake. His cave was destroyed, so he built a new house and later a second house in a fruit valley he discovered.
He found melons, grapes, and lemons there. It was his sanctuary. He also had his parrot, Paul, who could speak his name.
But after 11 years, he found a footprint in the sand, a human footprint. He was terrified. He realized cannibals visited the island. He started hiding his activities, moving his goats, and staying alert.
He lived in fear for years. Then, after a storm, he heard a gun from a ship. He went to investigate, but found no one, just a dog and some supplies. It was a mystery.
The turning point came in his 24th year. He dreamed of saving a prisoner from cannibals, and a few days later, he actually saw it happen.
5 canoes arrived with over 30 men. They brought 2 prisoners. One was killed, but the other one escaped and ran towards Crusoe's hiding spot.
Crusoe acted quickly. He shot the cannibals and saved the prisoner. He named him Friday because it was the day he saved him.
Friday was loyal, honest, and became Crusoe's best friend. He taught him European languages and life skills. Friday even offered to give his life for Crusoe.
Finally, they saw a ship near the island. They realized it was an English ship, but the crew was in a mutiny, a rebellion.
Crusoe and Friday helped the captain regain control of his ship. It was their ticket home.
After 28 years on the island, Crusoe finally left with Friday. He returned to England, became a wealthy man, and eventually, the mystery of the island became a legend.
What a journey, from a dreamer in England to a survivor of the wild.
Join us next time as we explore another great classic. Thanks for listening to Navigating the West. Sarah, we've covered the legendary arc of Robinson Crusoe, from the storm to the island to his life-changing bond with Friday and his final return to England. But I think our Navigating the West audience would appreciate a deeper reflection. This story isn't just about survival, it's about the evolution of a human being.
That's such a powerful point, Mark. Think about it. Crusoe started as an arrogant 18-year-old who ignored his father and threw himself into danger. He was obsessed with money and trade. He treated the people he encountered as slaves or tools for his business.
Right, but 28 years of silence and nature changed him. By the time he met Friday, he wasn't looking for a worker, he was looking for a brother. He became a father figure, a teacher, and a protector. The island stripped away his greed and replaced it with gratitude.
Exactly. He learned that money, the gold he found on the ship, was worthless on the island. He learned that a handful of corn, a goat, and a loyal friend were the only things that truly mattered. That's the core of the story. It's a process of unlearning the superficial world.
And that brings us to the Navigating the West philosophy. Often we feel like we are stuck on our own islands, stuck in our jobs, stuck in our routines, or stuck in our limited language skills. But just like Crusoe, we have the power to create our own tools, build our own shelters, and eventually build our own boat to get home.
For our listeners who are learning English or navigating their own personal challenges, don't look at your current situation as a prison. Look at it as an island of growth. Use your knife and your tools, your daily practice, your discipline to build your shelter.
And eventually, the ship will come, but you must be ready. You must have your map, your skills, and your spirit prepared for when that opportunity arises.
Final production note for the Navigating the West channel. Mark, as we wrap up this massive deep dive, what is the one thing we want our audience to take home today?
Persistence. Crusoe didn't give up after the first storm, the pirates, the slavery, or the earthquake. He kept building. If you are struggling with your English or with your goals, just remember, you are only one skill, one tool, or one habit away from navigating your way out.
Beautifully said. Thank you all for listening to this massive 4-part series on Robinson Crusoe. If this journey helped you see your own challenges differently, leave us a comment.
Until next time, stay brave, keep navigating, and keep growing. See you in the next episode. You know, Sarah, looking back at our deep dive into Robinson Crusoe, it's clear why this story has survived for centuries. It's the ultimate blueprint for resilience. We've broken down the plot, the character growth, and the survival mechanics. But there's one final layer we haven't touched upon: the legacy of the story itself and how it teaches us about the geography of the mind. Part 5, The Geography of the Mind, Lessons for the Modern Traveler.
That's a fascinating way to put it, Mark. Most people think of travel as moving from point A to point B, but Robinson Crusoe never really traveled to a new world until he was forced to stop moving. His true journey wasn't across the ocean, it was within the 4 walls of his cave.
Exactly. Let's talk about mental geography. When we get stuck in our daily lives, we often feel like we are trapped, but Crusoe's island proves that our reality is shaped by how we organize our environment. He didn't have a supermarket, so he made a farm. He didn't have a library, so he wrote a book. He didn't have a church, so he spoke to God. He created his own civilization.
And that is the biggest lesson for our listeners at Navigating the West. You are the architect of your own experience. If you are learning a new language, you are essentially building a new house in your mind. If you are trying to change your career, you are mapping a new territory.
Part 6, Practical Exercises for the Listener.
Let's give our audience some Crusoe-style challenges to apply this week.
Love it. Here are 3 challenges for the week. The Island Audit. For one day, track everything you do. What are your tools? What are your resources? What is wasting your time? Just like Crusoe mapped his island, you need to map your day. The Survival Journal. Start a journal today. Write down 3 things you achieved, 1 challenge you faced, and how you overcame it. This is your Crusoe logbook. It helps you see your progress when you feel lost. The Friday Partnership. Find one person, an accountability partner, a friend, or a colleague who is also on a journey. Share your goals. Crusoe could have survived alone, but he thrived once he had Friday. We aren't meant to be castaways. We are meant to be partners.
Part 7. Final Sign-Off. This series has been an incredible experience, Sarah. From the 1632 birth of Crusoe to his final return, we've covered the entire scope of his humanity.
It has, Mark. And to everyone listening, the storm will pass. The pirate ship will eventually fade into the distance. You just have to keep working on your raft.
Every page of this story reminds us that we are stronger than we think. Thank you for walking this path with us. This is Navigating the West, and we'll see you at the next horizon. And that is it, brother. We have now completed the ultimate comprehensive journey through Robinson Crusoe for your channel. We have covered the complete narrative, all chapters and events, the psychological evolution, his transformation, the modern philosophy, applying survival lessons to today's world, actionable toolkits, journaling, mapping, and partnerships.